Just so everybody's aware, we are recording now. We'll give everybody maybe another 30 seconds or so to get on here, and then we'll get things rocking and rolling. All right, everybody. First off, thank you all for joining us this morning. Looking forward to hearing from Chris Woods. He's definitely got another great presentation for us. Looking forward to hearing from him. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and just turn it over to him.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Paul. I appreciate it. First of all, just thank you for the opportunity. Just humbling that anybody would want to listen to me for 20 minutes, let alone 40. And I wanted to start off today by saying thank you to Kevin and Ben for two great presentations and setting the bar. So hopefully I can get a little close to those and going forward. I'll start the presentation off with a little introduction about me. In the Tri-Cities chapter, Chris Woods, I'm an Army brat. So it has really developed me as a person and as a professional. Army brat, meaning obviously my dad was in the Army. So I lived in 12 states in 2 different countries, and I've never met a stranger. And I think that's who I am on the lesson tee and in the profession. It's definitely impacted me. I'm a self-taught player. I'm the only person in this in my family that plays golf. And while it was an amazing experience, it would have been kind of cool to have some help, I think, along the way. But it's something I'm very proud of, being a self-taught player. A little non-traditional journey to the PGA. It took me 2 swipes at it. I tried to get through the program about 20 years ago, and I was just like one of these kids that just wanted to play free golf. Wasn't really interested in becoming a member. I must have been tough to manage. I can tell you that right now. So got a second swipe at it and flew right through the program. A little more focus this time, probably a little more maturity. But all of that, I say all that to say it just made me into the teacher I am today. So I'm a very opinionated person. I will get on a soapbox in a hurry. I don't know if some of you follow me on Instagram, but I'm a non-traditional golf professional with some traditional values. So that's the way I like to say it. I'm going to start this off with a little bit of fun. So I hope that's okay. This has nothing to do with my presentation today, but I don't know how many of you guys have been down to the show, the PGA show, and then have made your way to Fantasia Miniature Golf. It's that crazy miniature golf thing over at Disney. It's like a real golf course, right? It's got like sand traps and stuff like that. And I'm not sure what par is, but I think it's like, I don't know, it's like 72. I think it's like, par 5s, par 3s, stuff like that. I'm going to introduce you to a gentleman I met down there, and his name is Dave. Dave is the course record holder. And I don't know what this par is, but I think he shot like 24 under or something like that. And so the reason I'm showing you this video is that anytime I think I know something about or a lot about something, I run into a guy like Dave. And I mean, it's miniature golf, right? I mean, you just put it on a carpet. There's not that much to it, right? So I want you to listen to Dave. It's like a 10-second video.
It does take me about 4 holes to figure out what I'm doing because the humidity affects the speed of the carpet. And I've got to get the speed of the carpet down before I play the rest of it. It does take...
I mean, really? The humidity affects the carpet and the speed of the green. So just like in that moment when you think you know, you don't know. It's one of my favorite things about being a golf professional. He's not on the phone call, but Dave was not the most exciting thing that happened to me when I was down there at the miniature golf course. And I'm a little sad that this gentleman's not here, but I do need to give a shout out to this fine gentleman. So this photo was taken as I rolled right out of the bathroom, and just heads up, I was washing hands before COVID. So all's clean here. But Joe is a big part of, or is a big part of the way I teach. He came up and did a golf day for us in the Tri-Cities. And I thought I knew how I wanted to teach, and I thought I knew like what I wanted my lesson tee to look like, or even sound like, might be better. And when I saw Joe present there, it was just the coolest thing. There was plenty of laughter, but there was so much learning in that laughter. And so I just want to give him a shout out. That was fantastic. I know he's not on the call, but he better go back and watch the video, or I'll be disappointed. All right. So here's a chance. I don't know how many people got in here. 21 people. Okay, 21 people. Here's a chance, because I know most of y'all never comment on these things. Just as we go, can you comment, please? Who taught you how to play golf? Just somebody had somebody in your life. There was somebody influential. Just throw it out there. Just type a name. Who taught you to play golf? And I'm going to keep trucking through the presentation, but this is your opportunity. Yes, there we go. Awesome. This is your opportunity to comment. I know you're out there, people. I know the people that never, ever comment. So perfect. So where did I get my start teaching? Like I said, I just became a member in 2018. I was teaching before that. I guess I had knowledge of it. But truth be told, my teaching started with the first tee. And if you're not involved with the first tee, I certainly urge you to do so. But it really formed me as a teacher. It's an incredible junior program, and I just love the way that they introduce the game to juniors, and the way they introduce the game to kids. And that's the topic of this presentation. This is a ball and a stick game. And I wonder, so I was working with the first tee. I just kind of got thrown into it, and I absolutely love it. Adam Dean, thank you. Mr. Williams, thank you for just throwing me in there and letting me figure out how to swim. But so I'm in there and with the kids, and the way they present it in the first tee is so simple. And it's a ball and stick game. And it had me thinking, how often do I get in the way of my students learning, my juniors in particular? And I say that because if, as a young boy, if you gave me a ball and a stick, I knew exactly what to do with those two things. I was going to knock the crap out of the ball with the stick. And that's what kids do. They know that, right? So I wonder, that's when I started with this philosophy, and that, gosh, it's still a ball and stick game. We always want to come in with this technology, and we want to make it so complicated. And we want to talk about planes and these attack angles and things like that. And I know we don't always talk, I know not with juniors, but just even with the older players. And so I began to kind of, it sounds funny, but I kind of tried to take myself out of the equation and just actually be a tour guide for these juniors. I kind of wanted them, as a self-taught player myself, to enjoy the game and just help them along, maybe give them some guidelines. And so we started something here at Golf Amplified. I'll play a short video for you here in a second. It's called our Junior Power Hour. It's every Saturday, and we limit it to 6 juniors. But I'll play this video for you, and I want you to notice that there's minimal coaching. There's absolutely minimal coaching in this. This is an opportunity where we have tried to create an environment for learning. We've tried to create a space where juniors can come in, and what I like to say is just get reps, right? Have a golf club in their hand and swing. So let me find this video real quick. Paul coached me up well, but I mean, he can only do so much. okay, that might have been an opportunity for us to be how proud we are of our facility, just a little bit. But so yeah, so we're creating a space for them to play. Those are Nerf golf balls, obviously. But we do things like we're ricocheting balls off the wall. Now, are we not going to talk about their grip? No, I mean we're gonna talk about their grip. Are we gonna talk about balance? Yes, we're gonna talk about balance, but we're not going to talk about necessarily creating levers and things like that. So we're just trying to get them a space to explore the game. And going back to all the things that you said about who taught you golf. Again, this is one of my little soapbox things. I think ultimately that the game is self-taught. The game is self-taught. And as golf professionals, I think we offer a guidance in that. And so that's how I coach, and that's how I work on the lesson tee. As a self-taught player, I figured it out, but my bandwidth for mistakes was so wide, right? I was just trying to figure out how in the world to get this ball in the air. And I think as golf professionals, what I'm trying to do is narrow that bandwidth. Not only for my juniors, but for my adult players. Can I just help them along? But ultimately, it's a self-taught game. And you've got it when you're on the range and you've got some cues and you've got some things that your instructor gave you, you're ultimately going to learn that game yourself. And so that's what we create with that Junior Power Hour. And that's what I got from the first tee. Well, the next question is, like, what about adults? Like, can we do that with adults? And I found out it's even better. It's even better with adults because the little ones are trying to figure out body awareness and where everything's going. But the adults can actually have some body control, and we can work things a little more specifically. So what I find myself doing on lesson tees more than anything is actually stripping down golf swings. And we'll revisit that later. But I find myself stripping down golf swings and taking things out of golf swings instead of putting them in. So that's a new way I want you to think. And hopefully when we're done talking today, that's something you can wrap your head around and give a try. Because what I'm trying to do is to get it back to, and I find the athlete in that golfer. Because a lot of times I think we put so much on this golfer that they can't be an athlete anymore. So I'm trying to hunt their individual swing. We have a saying here. We try and find what a golfer does well, and we try and help them do that more often. And a lot of times that means withdrawing, like taking things out of the golf swing. So everybody does something well. I can find something well in a golf swing, even if it's like your shoes look great today. I'll find something and help them repeat that. We're not building golf swings here. We're trying to build golfers. And so by doing that, and with that attitude of building golfers, I'm trying to find their golf swing. I'm trying to find their individual swing, not mine, not a Chris Woods philosophy, not a Woods Academy philosophy. Woods Academy philosophy is I'm going to find your golf swing and help you repeat it more often. So does that mean, and it sounds like everything's like, well, Chris, you're not even doing anything on the lesson tee. Well, that's not true. So for the juniors, we touched on this already. If I get the juniors on the lesson tee, we're going to talk about things in a very broad term, like balance and holding that finish. Okay, because they know how to hit it, or not. Sorry, they don't know how to hit a golf ball, but they know what to do with the ball and stick, right? So we play a game with the juniors as far as I don't think it's a game, but to hold their finish, their PGA Tour finish until the ball lands. Something simple like that, because I don't need to start coaching them about levers and hips releasing and things like that. When we talk about balance and finish, we're actually building the golf swing from the ground up already. We're talking about footwork. And we've not once even mentioned anything about their feet. And I love the fact that we're still staying athletic and we're still saying simple, and that, hey, just hold this finish for me until the ball lands. And it's amazing how good their contact gets. And it's amazing how good their sequence and their golf swing gets if we can get their feet right. Because if we can get their feet working right, then the sequence already starts to happen in the right order. Now, we're going to talk obviously more with adults and people who have a little bit better control of the golf club and of their body. So when I say we're trying to find that athlete, what does that look like in the adult version? So I'll show a video here in a second. Swing path. We'll just talk about swing path for a few minutes. Obviously, most of the people, well, not obviously, most of the people that come into our facility are over the top or outside in. And so we're usually trying to fix that. What's funny is the video I'm going to show you, which is, I think, an incredible video. is a gentleman who came in and he was trapped. He had the golf club way behind him. And I'm talking like 9-10 degrees trapped inside. And I'd like to see him, 2 to 4 degrees swinging inside out. So what we do is we concentrate on the exit of the golf club. And we concentrate on where, after impact, what does the golf club do? And I know that sounds strange because the ball's gone, right? Yeah, I got that. So what you're going to see in this video is it's a drill. We use these 2 indoor tees. There's pieces of plastic, right? And we set them past the golf ball. And what I've asked this guy to do, so the dude you're about to see in this video is like a freak athlete. So I can't do what he does. But I asked them, so I set the golf ball's here, golf club's coming here. So he's super trapped. I tell him after impact, I want him just to clip the inside tee and take it away with his golf club. Right? I know, same thing. But I actually caught it on video, which is unbelievable. So let me find this real quick. So again, focusing on what does the golf club do after impact? And I'll tell you why we focus on that here in a second. Here we go. All right, so what you're going to see here, it'll go through a couple times and then it'll freeze frame, but I tried to filter this thing up so you can see, but there are 2 tees just in front of his golf club there. There's a yellow one and the green one's on the inside. So what I've asked him to do is clip that green tee. Now, well, we'll just let it play for a minute and then we'll talk. Sorry, yeah, people are still calling. All right, so as we're watching this, so why are we talking about exit and where this golf club exits? What I'm trying to do is get this guy obviously less trapped and stopping dropping the club inside. So I'm giving this athlete the opportunity to find out what in the world does that feel like on his own. So instead of me actually putting my hands on his golf club and putting that club in the position, I'm giving him a chance as an athlete to find the spot. And this guy obviously did. This was unbelievable. Now, what's funny is we talk about this after we do this, and that felt like he was just over the top, pulling it down the third base line. And you can obviously see he's coming from the inside in a beautiful manner there. This was a great shot. So we talk about, again, where does a golf club exit? Because I've given this guy the opportunity to find his spot on his own. Now, if he can do it on his own, he's gonna remember that more than me actually moving that golf club and getting it into that spot. And it's gonna mean more to him and his discovery and his journey. And again, back to, we are continuing to develop his golf swing, not mine. And that is huge. That is huge for us. As a side note, just so you know, most of those people who come over the top blow up both of the tees. So, but you're probably going to get that. But again, so if you think about the guy or the girl who's coming over the top with it, if I make them try and exit now to the right with those tees over there, they're going to try and manipulate that golf club. And now they have to, in order to exit right, they have to drop that thing in and get it going to the right after impact. Again, I do want to say, it's not that I've never have to have my hands on a club and help people find that motion. But the important thing here is, I think, give your students some credits and give the human being a credit. I think Kevin talked about it in the first presentation, that the human body is amazing, like the balance of it, and it will figure things out, but you have to let it. Too many times when we say, okay, if I had taken this guy and said, you're way inside, I need you to get the club going this way, or I need you to feel like you're trying to cover the golf ball, really pull it down that third base line. And, none of that, and that's all before the impact, and none of that may register to him. So now I set these tees that are past the golf ball, and I say, hey, just give me that clip that tee for me. So we do that, and then he and I talk about what did that feel like, why was it good, and what did what registered with you there. What you'll find is you might actually learn some stuff from your students as well, as far as how to relate some moves and some feelings. So again, taking this all back to allowing that student to be an athlete, allow the golfer to be an athlete, put a little faith in them, please. So this next thing I say, I think is probably going to be the most important thing I say in this whole presentation. So it's on feedback, and it's feedback from you, the instructor, from you, the professional. And as a self-taught player, when I was learning to play, my feedback was the golf ball, right? So I would hit golf shots, and they either felt great or they didn't. And the ones that felt great obviously created something in me. They created this feeling in me. They generated a feeling in me that I wanted to duplicate because it was pleasurable. It was awesome. Didn't even feel the golf ball, see the ball soaring. And then the ones that, I didn't hit well, hurt, or just it gave me feedback that I did not enjoy. So if you see me give a lesson, you will rarely hear me say a word when a student hits a great shot. I will normally sit there quietly and just watch. On the other hand, if they hit a poor shot, I'm usually on them like that because I'm trying to get them refocused and onto the next shot, if you will. And there's an absolute reason for that, and I kind of already touched on it. In that moment when that student has hit that great shot, the last thing they need to hear is your voice. And I know you're trying to be positive and you're excited. Trust me, I'm excited. Even if you've been trying to get the ball up in the air for 20 minutes and they roast one, the last thing they need to hear from you is, great shot, that's awesome, well done. Let them have that moment. That body is taking all of that in, and it's taking all those feelings in about what did that feel like and how in the world can I duplicate it again. Now, once that shot's hit, and it lands, and their eyes are like this, and they look over to you, and you look at them, and then we talk about the golf shot, and we talk about what happened there. Why did that work? Why did it feel that great? And then again, I said, if they hit a poor shot, it's funny, you'll see me, I'm diving right in because I need them to get refocused on the next shot. I'm not going to let them really harp on that bad one. But the good shot, you've got to let them have that space. You have got to let them have that space. When I was was one of my levels for PGA, it was this quote has stuck with me since I was there, and it was that really good teachers know when to talk and great teachers know when to shut up. And that absolutely hit home to me. And as a self-taught player, I totally get it. So know when to talk and know when to shut up. That is so important to your students, especially your little ones, It's funny, all the students that take from me know that if I don't say anything, that they've done some good stuff. It's fantastic. So what in the world does all this mean? Me just here rambling about letting your students be athletic and letting them find their swing with your guidance. Here's the deal. I'm going to challenge you as a golf professional with all this technology at your fingertips to strip down golf swings. Resist the urge to add something every time, and see if you can resist a new drill, a new something every time. Can you strip it down? That's my challenge to you. I spend more sitting at the truth table. I spend more time peeling back layers on my students, trying to find that athlete again, trying to find that original, the kid that was playing golf. Because I feel like I'm guilty of this as well, but I feel like I've just put so many layers on some of these students that it's paralysis to analysis, right? So can you mix this incredible technology we have today and peel back and find our athlete? And we have a quote. It's actually there you go. Love that. We have a quote that's actually on our wall here at Golf Amplified. Let me see if I can get it up here. And I'll kind of start to wind down. If I can get it up here. We live as golf professionals, I think in an incredible time with the technology at our fingertips. But gosh almighty, we cannot forget what it means to play golf. Phenomenal, great story. I don't know if Bruce Bowen's on this, but I think I can tell the story. I got to work with Bruce at the old farm, and Lanny Watkins is a member out there, and he's I don't get starstruck by many people, but I mean, that's a Ryder Cup captain, so I kind of freaked out a little bit. But he's talking about his son who played golf at Arizona and his stroke average was not that hot out there. And Lanny went off about how the modern golfer can hit balls for 8 hours but won't play golf, doesn't know how to get the ball in the hole. And so with all this modern information, as golf professionals, I think we have to hunker in on that traditional wisdom. My kids are sick of hearing me say there's such a big difference between hitting a golf ball and playing golf. Such a difference. And so with that, here's what I'm going to say. It isn't always about adding. Can you strip a swing down for your student? Can you help them find the athlete? And can you take this back to a ball and stick game? Because that's what it is. And I feel like that's what our job is. So thank you so much for listening to me ramble on a little bit today. I would love some questions. I am a talker and I am a gabber. Let's see. Putting and my use of technology. Absolutely. So we have Paul. Let's see. Stanek, you're still on here, right? Everything's still going okay. I'm freaking out, but that's good. Awesome. Having a blast. All right. Let me show you so we have a system here called Putt View. Let me pull up. I have a video somewhere because I thought somebody might ask about that. And I'll tell you why I love this system. Get this up real quick. Maybe. Here we go. I think I cut that early. Paul, was that showing?
Yes, it was.
Okay, sorry. I'm going to do it one more time because it's an awesome video. I feel like I cut it short. There we go. All right, I'm going to let this finish out now. Sorry about that. Awesome. So that's our biggest piece of technology here at Golf Amplified. It's called Putt View. I'm sure some of you have heard of it, or it's those lines that you see they're projections from the ceiling, and they show, in my opinion, the two things that matter when you putt, and that's line and speed. So the static line you saw was actually where you start the golf ball, and the dynamic line, the one moving, is the speed of the golf ball. That line is actually moving at the speed of a golf ball to go a foot past the hole. Going back to ball and stick game, I know we've all seen juniors get on the putting green, beginners get on the putting green, and they just blast. They have no concept of speed. He's blasting balls off the green. And I think, and a lot of that is, if you think about this changed my world on teaching juniors as well, especially putting. They're learning how to fire all their muscles, and they're learning how to walk and run and jump. And then we're going to tell them to putt, and now we're telling them to shut all these muscles down they don't, I mean, they're just figuring out how to get them all firing. So I totally get it. When someone told me that, I'm like, blew my mind. It makes total sense. But we put these juniors on this putting green with these lines, and we'll talk about grip and stance, and then we let them rip. And what's funny is you give them 15 minutes on here, and every putt they hit's dead weight because they can see. The cool thing about Putt View that I think is amazing is it conceptualizes speed, and that is so hard to do to a junior or a beginner. You're hitting it too hard. You're not hitting it hard enough. So now we've got these juniors just trying to match that ball to the line, to the speed of the line, and they just eat it up. I get juniors coming off the green like just matted down in sweat. And that might be because we got lasers. Who doesn't want to putt with lasers? So that's pretty cool. But that's a great question. I think there's a few more up here. Kevin, would you say that self-taught and self-learned are the same thing? I think that's a great question. I would say so. Self-taught, I would be more self-taught, and what I'm doing to my students now is probably self-learned. In that I'm giving them some guidance and a guideline. I think. Again, it sounds like I'm trying to take myself off the hook or the golf professional off the hook for the teaching. I promise I'm not. I'm just saying ultimately it's up to I don't think there's a golfer out there. Again, Chris on a soapbox. I don't think there's a golfer out there they didn't have to go learn things on their own. So I was self-taught for sure because I didn't get I figured everything out. Like trying to hit a draw, I was trying to figure out how to curve the golf ball and how to get it to spin that way. But that's a great question. I think self-learned is probably what I'm doing with students now. So I was more of a self-taught player. I love that, Nancy. Thank you.
Hey, Chris, it's Patty.
Hey, Patty.
Hey, I wanted to just do my question on audio because typing it was too complicated. This question's for you, and it sounds like a lot of you guys in on this call were self-taught. Chris, you mentioned specifically that no one in your family played golf, so you were really on your own. Do you have any advice for me as a teacher when I have a student that's learning the game and no one in their family plays? How do you tell them to get out and practice when their parents don't play, and especially getting out on the course? Do you have any ideas of ways to get them out there?
No, I think it's an awesome question because, and I think so for me, it was a different world than it is today. So like I was just dropped off at the golf course as a kid. My dad was in the Army, so I went in like at 6 a.m, and then he picked me up on the way home. I just don't think that's doable anymore. So I would shameless plug here. So we've created the Woods Academy here in Kingsport. We've created something for juniors to go play golf. It's all part of their academy deal. It's some golf courses. That is the challenge because I even with that academy, it's hard if the parents aren't. It's not that they're not invested in the junior getting better. I think it all comes back down to environment and opportunity. Are the golf courses in your area providing opportunity for those juniors to play? I'm not gonna lie, this Woods Academy deal I completely took from Sasha, and I don't know if you guys follow Sasha in Greenville at Link Hills. That guy's doing amazing things. Non-PGA teacher doing amazing things with junior golfers. You're going to see a lot of state champions coming out of Greenville in the next couple of years. And what they did was they actually got sponsorships from the country club members to sponsor juniors. So like for me, what we try to do is create an opportunity I want the juniors just to walk up on the golf course, check in, and then go play golf. I don't want them to worry about paying. I mean, that's all part of their membership kind of deal. So I don't know if that answered your question, but Sasha Katrin, I think, Kevin, is that what you're asking? He's at Link Hills. He's fantastic. You follow him on Twitter and Instagram. He's coaching a lot of really good kids. And so, Patty, I don't know. I guess to answer your question, I think opportunity. I think I got them all. Seeing a lot of.
Anybody have anything else for Chris or for anybody on the call itself? Honestly, like this is an opportunity for you all to share and all to chime in if you'd like. It's not these aren't designed just to be a one-way street. We want there to be collaboration, and that's definitely an opportunity for you all. So if anybody has anything they'd like to add or like to ask about of the group or Chris specifically, I'm happy to entertain any of those.
Kevin, just another. Kevin, it's a so our green in here is 20 by 30. But you actually and we have our system has two projectors. There's a system that's for half of that. So you do not need a big green. It's an amazing program. They're out of Hamburg, Germany. Bryson DeChambeau is using technology. I know that's a shocker, right? And Justin Rose is as well. It also is teamed up with a company called Virtual Green, which is the green that moves, and you can change the undulation of the green. And so PuttView can actually they can actually set up a program that as the green changes, it'll change the brakes and everything. What I was going to tell you about that. Oh, but the issue of the virtual green for us was the reason we didn't get the virtual green is we wanted a green that you could chip to, and the virtual green, because it is flexible, it's like chipping onto a trampoline. So that's why we didn't get that. But oh, that's a great question, Paul. So yeah, that's a lot of bad decisions. I can tell you that. So it's funny because that actually is a struggle for me. Not a struggle teaching, because I'm pretty opinionated on the course management too. But like when I see a kid make a decision on the course, I'm just like, how do you not know that? Because I kind of arrived on my own, and I don't think the kids are playing as much as they used to. I think they're hitting balls and they're banging on TrackMan. Another example is a young man who bangs a drive 280 down the middle. Now I know 280 is not far nowadays, but he's really mad that it's too spinny, and it's right down the middle. And that's just playing golf. Go hit it again, get it in the hole. But for me, it was about Paul, me hitting it in places that I didn't want to be anymore. And I think being honest with the student when I take them on the course and we talk about course management. I just remember talking to Chris Stacy. I know a lot of you guys know Chris Stacy. He was one of the best wedge players I've ever met. And I was asking him, picking his brain. We were playing somewhere, and I hit it in a bad spot. And I asked Chris, I'm like, Chris, what do you do from here? And he looked right at me. He said, you make bogey. And so, which is truth. So I think just talking to them about, for mine, it was all experience, right? I was all like, I'd hit it in places I'm like, well, I don't want to hit it there again. And I would hit it places where I couldn't get it up and down, or I didn't have enough green to work with. And as a self-taught player, I love this question. As a self-taught player, I love the curve of the ball. I don't hit it straight. And that was a big deal for me learning as a professional. As an adult, I would get in golf tournaments, and I would actually try and hit everything straight, and I would try and hit everything to the middle of the greens and be safe. But it's not how I play golf. I go hang out with my buddies, and I'm the guy that's like pulling the 7-iron out and like, watch this. You're going to want to see this shot. And so I try and be more like that in tournament rounds, and I am doing better with that, and I'm thrilled with that. I think another great point on this is I work with a sports psychologist, and God bless her. But she said something to me that really blew me away. She said, Chris, I need you to hit the shot that the situation calls for, because I'd get in tournaments and I would get nervous. And this is stuff I share with our juniors and my students. And I would try and hit the safe shot, right? So if I had to hit something where I had to slide a lofted club underneath it to try and get it to check and zip, I would still play a safe shot. And what was funny is I'd hit the safe shot horribly. And it's because I knew in my innate being that it was the wrong shot. So that was a big deal for me actually last year, was to hit the shot, hit the shot the situation calls for. You much better opportunity or much better chance of pulling it off because you believe it's the right shot and it's the right shot. And I've hit more, dangerous shots, but pulled them off beautifully because I know it's the right shot. And so there's a confidence there, I think. I hope that kind of answered what you're talking about. So hit the shot that the situation calls for.
Anybody have anything else they'd like to ask Chris this morning or ask the group? All right. Well, if nobody has anything else, I do want to thank you all for being a part of this. Definitely great information from Chris. Want to thank him for that. Please feel free to, if you have any questions, I'm sure Chris won't be hesitant after the call to answer anything that you might have. So feel free to shoot it out there as well. Look forward to hopefully seeing most of you again next week. Next week, we've got Jake Reeves, Fox Den. Looking forward to hearing from him as well. And without further ado, I'll let you all go. But thank you so much.
Paul, thanks for the opportunity. That was awesome. I really enjoyed it.
Great. Thank you, Chris.